This episode of Legacy Battle is sponsored by W Energy Drink.
W Energy is a more affordable and healthy sports drink option with over 10 plus flavors, no artificial fillers or dyes, made to prevent crashes, jitters, and angst.
Go to www.wdubby.gg and order your sports drink today. Put in the promo code Legacy Battle for a 10% discount. Thank you for watching. Welcome back to another episode of Legacy Battle. I am Michael Adams. My panelists tonight from Steelers Nation South, Rollo Coffin, Gridiron Battle Zones, Brian King, and we got from Raiders Nation and Steelers Nation, or not Steelers Nation South, Raiders Nation and the Gridiron Battle Zone. We got Peggy Holmes here. We are joined today by two guests, actually. First is Bill Schultz. He's an offensive guard out of USC, fourth round NFL pick, spent 6 seasons in the NFL, primarily with the Colts, a little time with Denver, Chicago, and the then Houston Oilers. So going back a little bit there.
That shows the age right there.
There you go. And we're also joined by a second-round NFL draft pick out of Northeast Louisiana. Played with the Colts, Dolphins, and Ravens. Fullback Roosevelt. Potts, thank you guys so much for joining us for our debate today.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
As always, we are going to have a Q&A after for these guys, a couple questions about their career. Tonight's debate is the Mount Rushmore of NFL fullbacks. Our honorable mentions, two guys that just missed our list, Tony Richardson and Charlie Haraway. So two nice players there. But we are going to jump in, and I am going to actually start tonight's show out here because I haven't started one in quite a while with the A-Train, Mike Alstott, or better known to John Gruden over there as Mark Alstott. He thought so highly of him in his first presser, he didn't even know his name. So Alstott, the A-Train, Tampa Bay Buccaneer from 96 to 07, Super Bowl winner, 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro first team, and 1-time second All-Pro team. Now, A-Train was a smashing fullback, and until Gruden showed up in Tampa, changing the offense, he was one of the best backs in the league. Over 5,000 yards rushing, despite not being the feature back, because he would block all the time for work done, and he still got his own yards, which was always impressive. He also had hands, 305 receptions. I don't think people realize that about him, but 71 career touchdowns with Tampa was a franchise record until 2021 when the great Mike Evans beat that. So his career, I mean, you could break it down into two spots. We got the Dungy years and then the Gruden years. And when Gruden came in 2002, Mike's role was cut big time. Gruden didn't like his style for Gruden's offense. Mike's carries decreased by over 100 carries a season, which is just insane if you think about that. He went from Pro Bowler to barely touching the ball. Despite that, his legacy in Tampa is legendary, and he is a member of the Ring of Honor down here in Tampa. So, guys, yeah, your thoughts here on the A-Train. He did have a little bit of fumbling issues, and as an offensive guard there, Bill, I'm sure that would upset you. And what are you guys' thoughts on him?
Well, Mike, I got a chance to meet him back. He used to train here in Indianapolis. I think he's one of the best all-around fullbacks that I would watch and train with. Actually, when he came in '96, I was actually recovering from a knee surgery. That's how I met him, and I actually trained with him after seeing him, doing what he did as a rookie and his second year. He was a very good football player. He had skills with hands. He had small hands. If you look at it, he had small hands, but he was a very powerful back, and he could block, he could catch. He was all around. He was top 5 fullbacks, I would say.
One of the nice things about him, too, is he didn't mess around with getting up in the hole and blocking somebody if it needed to be done. That's one of the best things about being an offensive lineman, having like Rosie and somebody like him that would come up in the hole and do what needed to be done. If there was a 5th man or a 6th man in the box that couldn't be covered, that couldn't be blocked. So he didn't hesitate getting up in there and getting rough with the big guys.
Bill, let's assume a guy like him is getting a handoff as an offensive lineman. Are you just trying to get out of the way, or how are you working different as opposed to having like a juking running back?
No, when no one like somebody like him or like Rosie, when he got the ball, I knew where he was going to be. You know, the way the offensive lineman works, the play opens up and it's very small gap. It opens and then it closes, and you're hoping that back is going to be in that spot. And Mike and Rosie were always in that spot, always at the right time. The fumbling issues were just, I just think it was just a fluke type of thing. Like Rosie said, he had small hands. But when a play opens and closes, you want that back to be in that hole when it opens and then be gone.
Well, let's move on to our. Oh, good.
As a back, you know, you working with your offensive lineman every day. You supposed to take them to the block. See, like what you learn in high school is totally different than what you learn in the pro. If we do it, you know, when you work together with guys, you're supposed to make sure the lineman get a good block. If I'm moving to the left and he sees the defense guy, he know I'm going left. But he know my thing is to cut back. If his job, he know I'm going to cut back. He know if it's a crease, his job is to stay there, go upfield, and I got to hit his inside shoulder. It's just like clockwork. It's just like clockwork, and that's what he used to do. And I can run over any safety.
It's really weird how the backs and the offensive linemen do work together, because if he can set up a block, it makes it so much easier for us linemen to block the person to where we know where the back is going to be going. If you understand that.
Yeah. Well, let's move on to our second player. Peggy, go ahead. Who you got?
Oh, you know, I got two of the best. I got Rathman and I got Moose. And let me say something about that role of that fullback. It really is in the mind of the offensive coordinator and whoever is designing the offense. And my guy Rathman, perfect for Bill Walsh's West Coast offense. I mean, he had hands. And the thing was that when you're talking about a guy that's a fullback, he's a guy that blocks. He's a guy that decoys. He's a guy, like Bill just said, who helps meets the block in the hole and makes the hole. But he also catches the ball. And he also can line up in many positions. It's all in the mind of the offensive coordinator. Rathman, to me, in my book, did it all. I didn't think, looking at his film, I didn't think he was such a great blocker, but 320 total catches over a 9-year career. 524 rushes, 2,020 yards. I thought that he was Bill Walsh's perfect idea, and I was sad to see him go. By the way, he came to the Raiders, coached in his last season, and coached for the Raiders for 2 years before going back to San Francisco. And then my next guy, let's go to a North Turner offensive mind. Again, how you use that guy depends on the guy who is imagining the offense. And we got Moose. When you say Moose, the first thing you think of, Bill, you could add to it. Talk about coming in that hole, hitting hard. People bouncing off of him. Emmitt Smith from the podium at his HOF induction gave him all the props and praise. And it was right, because this guy cleared holes. But as I looked at the film, he also had hands, and he caught a lot of balls from Aikman. And he was perfect for North Turner's envisioning of that offense. Because let me tell you, if you can use a fullback, okay, sometimes called an H-back, but if you can use a fullback to fake out a defense, where they don't know whether he's going out in the flat for a pass or he's really blocking downfield, because he's one of the few people that can't be called for it downfield. When you have the defense on the ropes like that, that's what Moose gave you. He gave you those options, and so did Rathman. And I think they got to be on your top 5 list, Roosevelt.
Listen, those two guys, they actually was my nemesis. Those are the guys who I had to play against. Those are the guys who my competition was. Those are the guys who I emulated. Those are the guys who I had to participate against. So when I get into it, actually, like I said, 95, Rathman, I padded my game after his game. Moose, I padded my game after him. Like I said, I actually got a chance to play with those guys. Those guys, San Francisco and Dallas was winning. We actually got a chance. I actually broke a record against Dallas as the first rookie to ever rush against the Super Bowl team for 111 yards in one half. And that's when I met Moose Johnson, and all the things, took place. The next time we played San Francisco, we had them here at home. We stopped them on the goal line 4 times, on 1 yard. They stopped them eight plays. We stopped them, and, just going from there, watching those guys, and those Moose Johnson, Tom Rathman. I padded my game after him. Moose, I looked at his toughness. We had all that good toughness, and you're right about him. He caught a lot of passes.
Mm-hmm.
And for a fullback, some of the games in the hot game, fullbacks are very valuable in the pro game. It's hot routes, and he caught a lot of passes. Those are my top, some of the best football players I've played with and played against. Yeah, you're right.
God.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
And multi-talented, multiple dimensions, an offensive coordinator's dream.
We always hear.
Back when I played, like you said, H-backs, right? It was a lot of guys that was H-backs playing tailback. I mean, you got to remember the 90s had like a lot of running backs. You had Terrell. You would call them tailbacks, but actually in their offense, they playing fullbacks, 2-backs. They changed, offset. You had Curtis Martin. You had a lot of. You had my man from one of my favorites from San Diego. You had Lorenzo Neal. You had a lot of people. You had the Bus. Bus was a tailback, but Bus was actually a fullback. It's like you had the guy from New England Patriots, Turner. Hey, it's just a lot. You said a lot of good names. There's a lot of good fullbacks to pick from, but to be a complete fullback, you got to be able to run, block, catch, play tight end, play guard, play. You play a lot of positions.
And talk a lot.
A lot of trash.
Well, we hear a lot about the offensive line for the Cowboys. For Emmitt Smith, does the Moose not get enough credit for Emmitt?
True.
But I think Moose is a lot like an offensive lineman, because we get no credit. A fullback never gets credit, or an H-back never gets the credit, but you want to. And I think a lot of it is you want to win. It doesn't matter who gets the credit. Let Emmitt get the credit. The offensive lineman was the one that made that happen for the team, or for the H-back, or what it might be. So, a lot, and majority of the NFL linemen don't want to be in the limelight, don't want to be in the camera, they want just to have the biggest reward for an offensive lineman is their tailback to go to the Pro Bowl, to make, the Hall of Fame. Hell, that's the best there is. And who helps you get it? The offensive line.
Yeah.
Rollo, who's your first guy?
I got Keith Byars from Dayton, Ohio. He went to the Ohio State University, where in '84 he finished second in the Heisman voting to Doug Flutie because he had 2,441 all-purpose yards. He would carry that versatility over to the NFL, where he was drafted number 10 overall by the Philadelphia Eagles. He played running back, he played fullback, and he played tight end in the NFL. His first year, he led the team in rushing as a rookie, but it was an '88 season where he would show off his true versatility. He was second on the team in rushing, first in receptions, and led the team in touchdowns. He would then join the Dolphins in 1993, where he became full-time full-time fullback and averaged 51 receptions in his 3 full seasons there. And he would also make his lone Pro Bowl appearance in '93. He played 13 seasons, rushing for 3,105 yards, caught 610 passes for 5,661 yards, and he completed 6 of his 13 passing attempts for 6 touchdowns. But that's the 3rd highest total among running back all time in history. He is still 4th all time in receptions by a running back and receiving yards, and he is 3rd all time in receiving touchdowns.
Keith was thought of so highly that on our Ohio State running backs debate show with Jeff Uhlenhake, he was represented in that show. So we know the man could run the ball. Guys, Roosevelt, Bill, either one of you, your thoughts on Keith Byars? I mean, yeah, he was great making those catches.
Keith Byars, I call him Mr. High Top. He used to catch that ball in the flat, go straight up the field, step all over everybody's head. Neal, power runner, run the ball hard. Back then, we used to call them third down specialist. Listen, Keith Byars was a third down specialist. A lot of times, you would have to throw the ball for 10 yards on the 3rd down. They would throw a screen to Keith Byars, or they would even give it to him. He could get the 10 yard. I played against him. I shook his hand. Another. He learned from Walter Payton. I mean, he talks about Payton. So through that whole thing, when you go through the divine, you get a chance to run into Keith Byars. Also, I got a chance to meet him when I played for Miami. So, hey, you talk about a good one, brother. Keith Byars is up there. He up there. Like I said, it's a lot of backs, man. It's just a lot. You can't. You only can tell everybody who first place by the people who got first place. That's all. I mean, that's the only way I can do it. But for the fullback, it's one of the spots that they probably need to go back and redo so they can start doing all that. Because we don't even count as far as getting into the Hall of Fame. That's hard to happen anyway for anybody. You know what I mean? So it's a tough game when it comes to that. It's a tough game coming to that.
Yeah. Brian, go ahead.
All right. Well, Roosevelt mentioned him earlier. We're going to talk about Lorenzo Neal, 5'11", 255 pounds, out of Fresno State. One of the best blocking fullbacks the game's ever seen, in my opinion. Neal began his career in New Orleans, where he helped Mario Bates reach a career high rushing total in 1995. Next, he goes to the Jets, cleared a path for Adrian Morrell to rush for 1,000 yards. Then he joined forces in Tampa, creating that unique backfield with fellow bulldozer Mike Allstott and speedback Warwick Dunn. Then he goes off to Tennessee for the 99 and 2000 seasons. Neal he paved the way for Eddie George to have the 2 most productive seasons of his career. A year later, Neal signs with Cincinnati, opened up holes for Corey Dillon, who topped 1,300 yards in both 2001 and 2002. 2003 to 2007, Neal goes out to San Diego and creates rushing lanes for the great LaDainian Tomlinson. During that span, LT had the most TD rushes in the league 3 times, won the rushing crown twice, and set the NFL single-season record for rushing TDs with 28. Then finally, the Ravens brought Neal in to Baltimore at age 38, and he served as a mentor for the young fullback LaRon McClain. And his influence helped McClain to become selected for the All-Pro team that season. So in all, he blocked for 1,000-yard rushers 11 seasons in a row. He stacked up 4 Pro Bowls, 3 All-Pro selections, and he is a member of the NFL 2000s All-Decade team.
You said that right.
He's a little short for a fullback. He was under 6 foot. We don't see that a lot in our fullbacks here, because I know, Roosevelt, you came in at 6 foot, so you're okay there. But what were you guys' thoughts on O'Neal? Like you said, 11,000 yard receiving yard or rushing yards, 11,000.
Lorenzo Neal, me and him actually met in the combine together. That year we come out with a lot of big players. We was two of the smallest school guys that's coming in. But when I seen him do that bench press about 40 something times, and he's 5'11", I was like, man, this guy here is tough. And what I look now, you just said something a few minutes ago, and this is how we really judge fullbacks. You judge the fullbacks by what they running backs done. Like all the backs that he talked about, right? If you go back and look at the backs that everybody that I blocked for, they all was 1,000-yard rushers, even when they didn't come. I blocked for Marshall Faulk, I blocked for Priest Holmes, I blocked for Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I blocked for Eric Red, most of the guys that I played, they got that. The whole goal was to get your tailback 1,000 yards, and I'm glad you said that because that's how you decide on who is the best fullback. And if you go through all those seasons where you got Tom Rathman and Moose Johnson and all these guys up high, Lorenzo, that's the way I looked at it. That's when we went down through the running backs, it was easy to judge for us. All we had to do is see who had the most yards that year as a tailback. So another great, and Lorenzo, very good friend of mine. Like I said, the toughest 5'11" guy that ever stick his head in the hole, that could catch the ball and be very physical. He actually kind of went to a couple of the teams I went to when he went to the Baltimore. That was right after me with him and Sam Gash and them. So he's a tough little cat. He's tough. He's up there. Like I said. Now see if you go by if you go by your tailbacks getting 1,000 yards, you know what I mean? He should be where he's supposed to be. But like I said, that's one of the positions that they seem not to do it their way. He's a very good football player. Yeah. One of my favorites.
With the answer that Roosevelt just gave, it's going to be very hard for my guy here to get on the Mount Rushmore today because he did not have a lot of good running backs behind him. Larry Centers, great fullback, 14 years, mostly with the Cardinals before going to Buffalo, Washington, and a final season with the Patriots where he won a Super Bowl in 2003. But during his tenure in there, Otis Anderson was already gone. And, Edge and guys like that didn't come on till after he was gone. So there weren't really any 1,000-yard rushers. Stump Mitchell was already gone. But Larry himself was a 3-time Pro Bowler and a first-team All-Pro. Holds the NFL record for most career receptions by a running back / fullback. So that's pretty impressive. He has 42 career touchdowns. He was an incredible third down back. He put up 101 receptions in 1995 and then followed that up in 96 with 99 receptions. Think about that. That's a fullback catching that many balls. Most of his career was with some very bad Cardinal teams. As mentioned, they didn't have outstanding rushers. He was the outstanding rusher for those teams. Out there in Phoenix, he's not going to be a household name when he's playing for the Phoenix Cardinals. Back then, it just didn't happen. The average fan probably wouldn't have known who he was had he not moved on to some of the other teams that he did later on. He's also returned a few punts and several kickoffs in his career, so I think that's always impressive. He is considered the best receiving fullback in history, and his 128 games straight with a reception helped show that. When he retired, he was 7th in NFL history for receptions. Think about that. 7th in NFL history. That's incredible. Guys, let me ask you this. What did he do poorly? Because obviously we know he could catch the ball very well.
Well, I can't say that he did nothing poorly. I'm gonna tell you what I thought about him when he was in. Larry Centers was the cheat code to the fullback. He was the cheat code. Larry Center he was different. He was because he won his most of the fullbacks us we was around 250 to 270.
I don't think he stepped on the scale at 250. This one. Sorry.
No, we're talking about Larry Center. He's the cheat code to the fullback.
Yeah.
He was around 220.
You were more than me. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but we was talking about how good Larry Centers was. Larry Centers was he caught a lot of passes. He was like a receiver.
Yeah.
He was a running back. He was everything. But just to see him do it, he was one of the best at it. Like I said, you know, those guys like Larry Sanders, hard-working guy. Most of the time when he was playing on the team, he's one of the best players on that whole team. You know what I mean? It was like he was always making a play for the team. Even when he left, when he started with he ended up being with Phoenix, right? Arizona, right?
Right.
Even when he went to Arizona and he was late age, I mean, to play fullback at 38, 30 something, that's a lot. That's a lot. And he had a long career. It was, I mean, all those guys right there, all the guys that you're talking about right now are good guys that I looked up to, that I wanted to like make sure I go out and compete with them every Sunday. Every Sunday.
Yeah.
It was
Bill,
like I said, it was if the real running back got 1,000 yards, you was in the talk. That's just how it went.
Yeah.
That's
Bill,
how
let
it
me
went.
ask you a question. Do you think a guy like Larry Sanders today, if he were to come out, would the coaches be moving him to tight end because of his hands and the way he was able to move, or with the fullback position today almost being non-existent?
I think he would have been a tight end. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still think they can use him a little bit of everywhere across the board. I mean, be the tight end and still do some sort of plays with the fullback, which there's really fullbacks are not existent anymore. But also just even as a decoy, where the hell are they putting him? What's he going to do? What are we doing? That'd be a good thing too, as a decoy.
And tight end and fullback, they do work
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
See, tight end and fullbacks do work together. You know what I mean? So the back and the tight end, that's how that game go. That's just watching the game and knowing those things on how it works. That all fits. Physicality.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Rollo, give us your final player, and then Brian will finish us out with his final.
I got John L. Williams from here in the sunny state of Florida. He was two-time second team All SEC, and he wound up being drafted by the Seahawks, where he played most of his career. He was drafted in the first round, 15th overall. He would come in, and he blocked for Kurt Warner, who had his highest rushing total of his career in John L's rookie season, which he had 1,400 yards. He had his own success statistically, finishing second on the team in rushing and tying for fourth in receptions. He was not only a good blocker, helping Kurt Warner and Chris Warren to 1,000-yard seasons, and Derek Finner actually led the league in rushing touchdowns behind John L. Williams. He had 59 receptions in his Seattle career and had 3 seasons of 700-plus rushing yards, including a career-high 877 in 1988. He would go to Pittsburgh in '94, where he would pave the way for the league's #1 rushing attack, with Bam Morris and Barry Foster running behind John L. Williams. He would make 2 Pro Bowl appearances in 1990 and '91 with the Seahawks. He is 12th all-time in receptions and 13th all-time in receiving yards by a running back / fullback.
He was there for Barry's big year?
No.
No.
No. He's another cheat code.
Yep.
He was down there with me with another cheat code.
I know he was a very good blocker out there in Seattle, and then when he came to Pittsburgh, he was used almost as a hybrid, doing all kinds of things there for Coach Cowher. But what are you guys' thoughts on him? He did put up the 1,000-yard rushers, as Rollo said.
Well, that's what I said. That's another one of those great fullbacks that, fullbacks don't have that long to play neither to get recognized. Let's put that in perspective. They don't have that much time to get recognized because it's more of a thing with the running back, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers, the DBs. But as a whole, as long as I've been out the league over 30 years, I can walk around any football players anywhere all over the world that I played with, and that's how you know. Like that's you run into John Elway, you know who he is. You know what I mean? He left a mark on the game, and like I said, I can't even judge myself, putting myself in with all these guys. Like I said, I like everything about a lot of people, and that's what made it. That's what made competition. You know what I mean? It's like I watch football now and see how these guys do it now. I don't even understand it. It just I don't know. It's just different kind of football. It's just different
Yes, it
kind of
is.
football. It's just different kind of football, and you know, I could never like. I mean, I know we celebrate it a little bit, but it's just stuff that they do that I don't understand. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So I don't want to talk
Just
about it.
going back to where when we played in the
We can
NFL,
talk about it.
to where it is now, it's a different game. You know, I guess they like the fullbacks leading with their head in the hole and blocking and doing the stuff they did. I don't think that doesn't happen anymore just because of the way the league
Safety.
is the way the league is today. Um,
Yeah, it's hard to explain because you don't want to. It's entertainment. I mean, I guess we were entertained, but I never looked at it as entertainment. I see this as entertainment
Mhm.
because
Right.
you don't get the real. You don't get the real bone crushing stuff.
thuds, the hits, the
you know,
collisions, the oh God, did you just see that?
you don't get that stuff that make you want to quit. Like you'll actually walk away from that. These, I mean, I don't even care about nothing about the money, right? But when we went and played this game, I seen guys had millions of dollars. They would run out in the middle of camp at night, jumping in cabs, talk about I can't do this. Like they, they get to break you down. I don't even know if they get broke down no more when they go to the NFL. I don't know if they run them. I don't know what they're doing because it's just, it's just, I don't know.
Oh.
We had a
I
month
don't
and a
know.
half of two-a-days with full pads every day. Nowadays, it's a helmet.
And and I know it's for safety reasons, but there's no discipline in the game. It's like, it's, and you have to watch how they hit, which is cool, but it's not interesting. It's the defense is in trouble with the way the game is. The defense is in trouble, and I don't like how they put the defense on their heels every play. I just, the game is different. You can get as a fullback, a running back, you can get a whole lot of yards now. You really can. You really
Brian,
can.
give us our last guy.
All right. Well, that's a good segue into this last guy here, a guy who's still playing, Kyle Juszczyk, 6'2", 235 pounds out of Harvard. Now, this guy's a throwback. I mean, he could have played back in the 90s, I think. Considered pretty much the last great fullback in the NFL. He's been named to the Pro Bowl 9 times and an All-Pro twice. Juszczyk got his start at Baltimore in 2013, and he worked in that exotic Mark Trestman offense. Bulldozing holes open for guys like Justin Forsett, Javarius Allen, Terrence West. Not the sort of lesser named backs, but they had their best seasons running behind him. In 2017, he joined the Niners, and that's when his career really began to take off. He became a part of another complex offense, that of Kyle Shanahan, and it's been a perfect fit. The Niners' average offensive yardage NFL rank has been 8th in Juszczyk's time there, with 4 seasons ranked in the top 5. Guys like Carlos Hyde, Matt Breida, Raheem Mostert, and Elijah Mitchell all had quality seasons running behind Juszczyk. And then when Christian McCaffrey joined the Niners, it became a match made in heaven. Following Juszczyk's lead, CMC put up some serious numbers, including the rushing crown in 2023. Juszczyk also helped out in short yardage and goal line situations as well. He scored 24 touchdowns in his career.
Well, guys, could he play in today's game, Brian? Or in your time, could he play in your time? Brian claims that he could.
Well, look, I looked at, listen, when he talked about him, I was like, I don't even know this guy. And I didn't look him up. But what he said, did any of his guys get 1,000 yards rushing? That's all I need to know. He might have played for a lot of people. The end of him get 1,000 yards is what I'm saying. That's how we put him on the list. Like I said, I can't. But him being a fullback and what he said he did good. The things that put you on the list is did your running back get 1,000 yards? That's the stats sounded good, but I don't know. Did anybody got the stats? This guy looked good. He played with good football players. Now listen, look, Larry Sanders didn't play with no whole lot of good football players. Now Tom Rathman did, Moose Johnson did. Mike Allstott didn't really play. He played with another good running back, but they really didn't play with no whole lot of good football players. I played with another good running back. Some of these teams is built with superstars, right? And some of these teams are just built with hardworking guys. And I think that I know he's a good football player, and I'm not even talking criticism about it, but this is just how I think about it. And one of them quarterbacks and one of them tailbacks get 1,000 yards. He in there. This is not like basketball, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. This is football. We have things that tell you that this is the best. Like, you know what I mean? So if you is where you is.
Well, let's move. Yeah. Well, let's move into our vote. Can't pick your own. Peggy, who are you taking?
Oh, I'm taking BK. I'm taking John L. Williams. Did you do John L. Williams?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Rollo?
There is no all-time Rushmore of fullbacks without Moose Johnston on it. Moose.
All right. Yeah. Gosh. I like what Brian said about Lorenzo Neal, man. He said 11 times guy's got 1,000 yards behind him, so I'll take Lorenzo Neal. Brian?
I mean, when I think of a fullback, I think of that big A train, bulldozing guys over and on the goal line, making the, diving in for the touchdown. So I got to go Allstott.
There you go. All right, Roosevelt, you can pick your own four, and then Bill, you can pick your own four. Who would be your Mount Rushmore?
Let me pick before he does. But I think Mike Allstott was probably one of the best. But I think the second best is I've got to be partial to this because I blocked for the man. It's Rosie. Rosie knew how to play the game. I'd be pulling up to the hole and he grabbed my belt and I knew where he was at all times. But Rosie should be on this list. But that's being partial because I played with the man.
Nice.
Who'd be your four, Roosevelt?
Man, I'm torn between two.
He's getting emotional now. Look, he's tearing up a little bit.
No, it's because Mike Allstott I work with, Lorenzo Neal, I know both of them like brothers.
He's just trying to get radio time right now. He just won't pick.
No, I got to go with Lorenzo Neal.
Well, you actually get to pick your own four. You get to make your own Mount Rushmore.
I got to go. Well, I'm picking how I like it. All right, I got Moose Johnson. I got Mike Allstott, Tom Rathman, and Lorenzo Neal.
Nice.
Okay. Well, there you go, guys. So our guests, Mount Rushmore, the Moose, Allstott, Rantham, Lorenzo Neal, and then Legacy Battles was the Moose, Lorenzo Neal, Allstott, and John L. Williams being the only difference. So nice job, guys. Let's move into our Q&A for our guests here. We'll go Peggy, Rollo, Brian, me.
Oh, thank you very much. And Roosevelt, I want to answer your question so much. I was going to ask another question. What has changed about the game? Not just the toughness, because see, I'm an old school gal. Okay? From the 70s, I've been watching football for over 50 years. Okay? From the days in the 60s of the Washington Redskins forward. What has changed about the game? Well, let's take your position. What did they do with it? I think you're now a slot receiver. I think your blocking duties went to the tight end. I think your running duties went to the quarterback position. Okay? And this is important because with Madden and all these fringe football fans now, they have actually redefined the game. So I want to ask you, okay, if there was something you could do to put the toughness back in the game, I know that's a big question. What would you do with that runner? With that, how would you bring back that fullback position?
That's a great question.
I would take it back to the same thing. 6, 7 yards. You got to take 7 yards for you to get off a receiver. The only thing that's changed in this game is the way the receivers are able to go against somebody. 7 yards now that the defense could mess with the football player. That's all they need to do.
And the protection of the quarterback and the way that, nowadays, if you barely touch a quarterback, you're getting 15 yards. And the end of the line, being able to have the left tackles move back a little bit would be nice too. Going back to the way it was.
And let me tell you something else that's missing. And the reason I say that, 7 yards, right? A lot of people don't know this. They just watch football. But every route in an offense, right? Say you run a post route. A post route is a certain kind of route. You run 10 and then you cut in, right? You run 10 yards. Okay. That's it. But the offense has already got a whole lot on the defense now, especially if they playing man-to-man. And they got to play off. But that's not really good because they got another option. If you play me man and you're bagged off, man, I turn around, I just run a stop route, and I throw you the ball, and you go. You run out because that's what you taught to do. This game, they got one person standing in the middle. You can do a whole lot of stuff, man. It's entertainment. It's taken away from the game. I do like the new kickoff. You know what? To run back a kickoff and a punt on the way they do it now, you're a bad joker if you could do that. I just don't like how they gave offense a whole lot to get away with the defense. It's a high scoring game, which when you play football, everybody know what you do. It ain't like strength and nothing no more. It's smartness of the coach, and then it's that stuff. What's that gambling stuff? That the one to tell you with they do all that stuff on this computer stuff.
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football. They running this.
That's what it is.
Fantasy.
And
That's
Madden.
what
And Madden.
Fantasy football running this stuff, mama. This stuff ain't real. I'm telling you, this is like, I'm mad about all this stuff, man. This stuff ain't real, man. It's like you can see it happening. It's entertainment. It's like wrestling. It's like wrestling. I guess they trying to conserve the people, but now, since you're making, I wish I could make $50 million not really getting hit. Thing I did was real. It was real. I wish I could take flu. I got the flu. If I get the flu and I ain't got to play, what? When we got the flu and we couldn't play back in them days, they take part of your check. See what you talking about? Throwing up. That's all. It's just the game is just funny. Just a lot of money. Just a lot of funny people with money. That's all. That's all. It's entertainment.
This is a question for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Both you guys played for Ted Marchibroda, one of the brilliant offensive minds, inventor of the K-gun. What was it like with his preparation, and what was it like in the locker room? Because he was known as kind of like a player's coach. What was he like in the locker room? What was it like with his preparation?
The locker room, and I was on the board for the NFL Alumni Association for about 12 years. And we all talked about what we missed about the game the most. And we missed the paychecks, yes, but we missed the locker room. And the camaraderie in the locker room, Marcia Broda was just one of the guys. He was just one of the, he'd come in the locker room and BS with us and have a good time. But when you're on that field, it's a different deal. You're now a professional. You need to perform. But that locker room was the stuff that went on in there. Oh my! And the stories. Oh, you just can't. I can write a book on the stuff in that locker room.
Yeah.
My goodness.
I got to tell you a story about it. You said March brother. Now listen, his son was my agent, and he was all part of me. He was all part of me being in Baltimore. I want to tell you a real story. This
Might take 45
No,
minutes.
this gentleman saved my life. I knew I was coming to Indianapolis after I talked to him. He told me I was coming. He was like, I gotta get you out of your situation. And I remember the first time when I got to Indianapolis. Listen, the first day I got to Indianapolis, coach, I almost got fired. I remember them always talking about the pink slip. Well, I ain't never had nothing before in my life, and I got drafted as a second round choice. So they flew us in. So I get on this private jet. They got everything.
What is that?
Modelo. They got everything. They got grapes, oranges, sandwiches, liquor, everything. Now listen, I'm just not getting grown. I ain't never did it. So I asked the lady, I said, if this stuff is all ours, I'm on there with the first round pick, Sean Dawkins, and then me. We going back, sign our contract. So I get on here and I start eating. Then they got Crown Royal and I start drinking. So I'm like, I'm having a good time. I get to there, we signing out big old contracts and everything. We going there signing contracts. So I'm thinking we just gonna look at these people today. Hey, he go in the locker room and they like, since they going out, y'all belong to us now. You might well put your clothes on. Like to do what? Like to go run. They had like 100, they had like 10, they had like 14 110s or something. And I had been drinking. I run out there and when I run about 5 of them, my heart started jumping out of my chest. And they didn't draft the second round pick. They got Eric Dickerson there. Everybody laughing at me. Man, I went in there. I had a pink slip in there. It's come up to the up to the front, which they say, don't nobody come up here. They was like, man, you a rookie. You already going up to the front. When I went up to the front, he told me, he said, I thought he knew who I was, but then this is what Ted said. Ted said, what's that town you come from? What's your name? I said, Roosevelt Potts. He said, what's that town you come from? I said, Rayville, Louisiana. He said, you want to go back there? I said, no, sir. He said, well, then, tomorrow when you come in, everybody you've been drafted in front of, you better, whenever we run, you better come. Don't worry about first round, but anybody come after you pass you, I'm sending you home. And that's the way we started off. And that's the way that's the way it happened. He got rid of Eric Dickerson and took me. There was a lot of flack behind that. There was a lot of flack. I had what guys would not even block. Coach had to go out and get somebody like Bill Schultz and say, he'll block for me. Put me in with the second group. I look good. Put me in with them starters. I wasn't looking too good. They was knocking my head off. Yeah. True story.
Well, Roosevelt, your first NFL touchdown came in week 2 of the 1994 season. Colts at Tampa, an 8-yarder in the third quarter after a handoff from Jim Harbaugh. So what do you remember about that play, and were you able to keep the ball?
Well, I tell you what, I almost got fired. If you go back and look at that play, Marshall Falk didn't know where to line up at. Lenny Fonte was the new offensive coordinator. You can see it from the sideline. You see him jumping around. I said, man, you don't know what to do it. I'll do it. Well, it cost, if for every touchdown that I get right, I get $100,000. What? Yeah. I scored that touchdown. They cursed me out. That's why when you look at my touchdown list, I ain't got a lot of touchdowns. But I could take you all the way down to the goal line. Every touchdown I either got fined or something. I got a touchdown in New Orleans. Cost me $20,000 spiking the ball. And everybody spiked the ball. So There's a lot to the game.
So we'll get you guys out of here with this. I have one for each of you. So, Bill, at USC, you got the block for Rodney Peete. I mean, that he was, an African American quarterback before that was, something that was highly accepted in the NFL. So what was it like working with him? And then for you, Roosevelt, if I don't ask about Memphis and the XFL, Vince McMahon, I'd be really upset. So was it as crazy on the field for you players as it was for us watching it on TV, or was that just more for show and for you guys it was just football?
Playing for Rodney Peete at USC was a blast. It was so much fun. He was just like one of the linemen. Always wanted to hang out with us, do stuff with us. When you play for a person like him or like Elway. I blocked for Elway. Playing for somebody like those guys, they make it. And this is not. There was no color in college. There was no color in the NFL. We are brothers, no matter what we are. We're brothers, and that didn't matter. So I would die in the field for Rodney. I'd die in the field for Elway. I would do anything for Rosie. And even after all these years of playing together with Rosie, and even Rodney, we still keep in contact. I'm waiting to get one of the invitations to go on the yacht with Magic Johnson and freaking all them. I mean, I've not got an invitation to that yet, but it was such at USC. It was such a family, I bring back that certain word of fraternity, because to be in that locker room and to be around those players and to be involved in that kind of a small setting was just one of the greatest things that I've ever been around. And those are the things I miss. I don't miss the games. I remember a lot of the games. A lot of them I don't remember. But that locker room, everything that went in the locker room was just such a cool, small fraternity, a very, very private fraternity. And then when you leave college or you leave the NFL, you're not part of that fraternity anymore. It doesn't exist. But every player that I've played with, I've had a blast with. I don't have any negative stories about anybody. Rodney is just such a cool dude, such a cool. I mean, at USC, we had before the home games, we would go into Warner Brothers Studios and watch a movie that's not been out yet. And we had Harrison Ford come in and talk to us, and it was just such a cool atmosphere. And then playing to want to get to the next level in college, and then getting to the next level, it's such a different night and game type of game. But I had a freaking blast at SC. I had a blast playing in the NFL where I played, and lucky to block for this man. And I really appreciate you guys having me on your show. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, you asked me about working for. I'm being funny right now, but working for Vince McMahon and Donald Trump, shit. I had to ask for my check every damn week. I had to beg for my check every damn week. Where my check at? They never paid on time. It was other than that, it was a dangerous sport. Actually, it was really barbaric. Actually, it wasn't no joke about it. Really wasn't no joke about it. But you had to make sure you get your money because, you wanted to win. This is the deal. You got $3,000 if you lost. You got $7,000 if you won. So you wanted to win as many games as possible. I mean, it wasn't a really bad pay. Matter of fact, you only practice about an hour. You didn't have to lift weights. You can go around all day, hang out. All you did was hang out all day and play football and make some money. But you had to make sure you got your money while they were starting up. It was a fun league. And I'm gonna tell you what, I played on the Memphis Maniac. We had some of the players that I used to have to play against, like Alvin Harper. We had a lot of the Dallas Cowboys players on our team. We had like Kippy Brown was our head coach, and we won a bunch of games, and it was some good money, for the guys. I like it. I tell you what, I like it now. It's very good for some football players that want to extend that dream. You know what I mean? Extend that dream out. And I got a chance to experience Memphis. And actually, we won, had an opportunity. I played with Rashawn Salam, you know, one of the best football players. I played with him. You know, it was a sight to see. It was a good football league. It wasn't fake.
He's still talking.
All that stuff was dangerous.
He's still talking.
All that stuff was dangerous. That's what I got to say about the XFL.
Well, thank you so much, Bill and Roosevelt, for joining us today. It was a pleasure talking with you both.
Okay, brother.
Thank you. Great talking to you guys.
Yeah, remind everybody, hit that like, subscribe, notification button. Can never tell you how important that is for any show that you're watching out there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Have a great night.